letter in her hand. She was smiling, so I guess she'd forgotten about being mad. "Surprise," she said. "We're all going to Quincy next weekend for 4 whole days." "Well, now, ain't that nice?" Rosebud said, taking out his handkerchief and mopping the sweat off his face with his big black hand. "You folks deserve a little break." "Oh, you get to go too, honey." Biggie patted her hair. "I need you to drive." Rosebud's face fell. "I don't know, Miss Biggie. I was planning on painting the garage next weekend." Biggie continued as if he'd never said a word. "You see, the Quincy Historical Society is having a weekend workshop on how to preserve history in a small town, and they have invited our officers to attend." Biggie is a very important person in Job's Crossing, on account of she's the richest person in town and her family's been here the longest. She decided to organize a historical society after we took a trip to Williamsburg, Virginia last Christmas. Biggie figured Job's Crossing could cash in on its glorious history the same way Williamsburg was doing. Her idea was that Job's Crossing had existed under the flags of 6 different countries, while Williamsburg could only claim 3. When I pointed out to her about how we learned in history class that there wasn't even a town here when the French and Spanish first settled Texas, she said it didn't matter, because there certainly were Indians here, and she wasn't going to be a racist and ignore that fact. "Biggie, I don't want to go to Quincy. I was planning to camp out on Saturday night." I was ready to go into whining mode if she said I had to go. Biggie read my mind and gave me a look. "Of course you're going," she said. "You can learn a lot on this trip. Besides, JR, you know how you love history. My sakes, they have about 4 museums in that little town, not to mention the fact that the hotel we'll be staying in is a museum in itself, and it has a ghost." "Oh-wee," I said. "For real?" She's right, I do like history, but I like ghost stories even better. "For real," Biggie said. "They tell about it right here in this brochure they sent. You can read it tonight after supper. Right now, I've got to go in and call the other officers so they can make arrangements for the trip." After I watched Biggie scurry back inside the house, I turned to the big black man beside me. "Rosebud, do you believe in ghosts?" Rosebud was pouring concrete around a post he'd just set. "Sure do," he said, not looking up. I sat on the ground and watched him pour. I watched his big arm muscles move under the white t-shirt he wore. "I bet you know a story about a ghost." Rosebud has a story for just about everything that happens. "Nope," Rosebud said, standing up and stretching his back. "Hand me that post hole digger over there. I gotta make this next one a little deeper." Rosebud is my best friend in the whole world. He has little gold hearts, clubs, diamonds, and spades built right into his 4 front teeth. He won them off a dentist in a crap game down in New Orleans. Rosebud tells wonderful stories. Some I believe, some I don't, but I wouldn't tell him that because they're very interesting even if untrue. By the time we finished the pen and came in the house, Willie Mae had supper on the table. She turned from the counter where she was stirring sugar into a pitcher of iced tea and waved her spoon at us. "Get in there and wash up. Supper's getting cold." Personally, I couldn't see what was getting cold. We had cold sliced ham, cold potato salad, cold sliced tomatoes and cucumbers from the garden, fresh baked zucchini bread, and iced tea. But you don't argue with Willie Mae, who's a voodoo lady and can turn you into a frog in a blue-eyed minute if she takes the notion. She came to live with us when I was just a kid, and me and Biggie were trying to keep house all by ourselves and not doing a very good job of it. I'll never forget the day she came, carrying all her things in a black satin pillowcase. Our last maid, Codella, had gone running down the street screaming her head off the day before, just because she happened to find a catfish swimming in Biggie's toilet. It wasn't anything to get excited about. Biggie had just put him in there to keep him fresh until she had time to clean him. I have to admit, though, the house was a mess. Willie Mae didn't waste any time taking down all the drapes and shaking the dust out of them, cleaning out the pantry, airing all the bed linens, waxing the floors. Well, you get the picture. In no time, our house was spick and span, and the good smells of Willie Mae's cooking had filled the kitchen. Not long after Willie Mae had moved into the little house out back, Rosebud got out of jail in Mansfield, Louisiana, and he moved in too. We had just sat down in the kitchen to eat when in walked